Hi everyone, welcome and thank you for joining us today. My name is Jean, the Digital Events Coordinator at Connecting Up and TechSoup New Zealand. We are part of the Info Exchange Group, a not-for-profit social enterprise that tackles the biggest social challenges by creating use of technology. For those who haven't attended a webinar section with us before, Connecting Up and TechSoup New Zealand facilitate training calendar of online webinars, workshops, boot camps, and webcoins to help the social sector upskill in all digital areas. So please check out our training menu on our website for more events coming up. Today, I'm very excited to welcome you to join Enterprise Password and Key Management, the missing elements in the access management strategy for NFPs, with Namal, the solution consultant at ManageEngine. Namal has over 7 years of expertise in assisting enterprise organizations, including education, nonprofit, and government sectors across the globe. Specialized in supporting complex ManageEngine deployments and helping organizations adopt strategies to solve real-life IT challenges and IT service management, IT security and compliance, etc., by using ManageEngine solutions. He also the influencer in making the right choice of solutions for customers around the globe. Before we start, let's have a bit of housekeeping. All lines are muted, so if you have any technical issues, please type it into the questions box on your webinar panels, and I'll be here to assist you. If you have any questions during the sections, please also type into the question box, and Namal will answer them by the end of the webinar. We really encourage you to ask as many questions as you think throughout the sections to make it very interactive. No question is silly, but please also be reminded that your questions, comments will not be appear to the entire group. If you're on Wi-Fi connections and have multiple programs open, this can sometimes affect the quality of the webinar. If possible, please close all the programs for the best experience. Please note that the webinar is being recorded. A link and the presentation deck will be sent to you in 1 to 2 business days. Finally, I would like to remind you that there's a short survey at the end of the webinar. Please help us to complete in order to have an even better experience for you. All right, enough for me, and now I'll hand over to Namal for today's section.
Yep, thank you, Jean. Hello, very good day, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. So let me introduce myself. I'm Nirmal Nathan, Solution Consultant at ManageEngine. So I'm with ManageEngine for 7 years, with expertise in assisting enterprise organizations, which includes education, nonprofits, government sectors, and much more. So I hope you all can see my screen and my audio is clear. So please feel free to post in the chat window if you face any difficulties. I'll wait for 5 seconds. All right. So let me turn off my camera for time being, and I'll be starting it again at the end of the session. Okay, so today's topic will be enterprise password and key management, and why it is a missing element in the access management strategy for NFPs, and how we are going to tackle this with the ManageEngine solution. So yes, let's get started. For those who are not aware of who we are, let me give some background. ManageEngine is primarily the IT management division of Zoho Corporation. So we are in the business for more than 25 years. This is our 25 years of journey. When we initially started our company back in 1996, we were providing IoT-based applications for enterprise organizations. So we started with one product, and now in 2021, ManageEngine and Zoho offers around 200 plus products. So at present, we have three divisions in Zoho. Zoho.com, which provides SaaS-based applications for businesses. And for example, Zoho CRM, Zoho Forms, which is used for sales and marketing, uh, customer service applications like Zoho Desk, Zoho Assist, and email and collaboration apps like Zoho Mail, Zoho Click, Zoho Meeting, and much more. And ManageEngine is where we offer enterprise IT management applications, which is going to be our core focus in today's session. Control is a division which we recently launched, which is an automated workflow and orchestration software. So ManageEngine's on-prem and on-cloud solutions can be broadly classified into 6 verticals. The first is IT service management. So here we offer a comprehensive help desk management solution with modules like incident management, service request management, asset and CMDB management, problem, change, and project management, and so on. The next is identity and access management. So here we have multiple products to manage and audit your on-prem AD as well as Azure AD, and then Microsoft 365 and Exchange servers. And also we have products that offers single sign-on for on-prem and cloud applications, and products to manage all your privileged identities, which is what we'll be discussing in detail today. And the next vertical is security, information, and event management. So here we offer a SIEM solution to collect logs from various log sources and correlate and send alerts. So using the logs collected, we show compliance reports like PCI, DSS, SOC, HIPAA, ISO, GDPR, and much more. The next is unified endpoint management and security. So here we offer solutions to manage your endpoints from a central location, like patch management, software deployment, OS deployment, remote control, and so on. Apart from managing your endpoints, we also provide security add-ons, which helps to find the vulnerabilities and then patch them, secure your browsers, control applications, control USB devices, and so on. The next vertical is IT operations management. So here we offer a monitoring solution which is capable of monitoring any device which has an IP address assigned to it. So it basically does availability and performance monitoring. And using add-ons, we can also monitor bandwidth and traffic. And also we have add-ons for multi-vendor network change configurations and compliance management. And we have multi-vendor firewall monitoring and management solution. And the last vertical is advanced IT analytics, where we offer BI solutions, which can be integrated with SQL database or Oracle or any cloud solution. And also with ManageEngine applications to generate user-friendly reports, data analytics, and data visualization. So all these applications contextually integrate with each other. Some of the applications are also available for managed service providers, like Service Desk plus MSP, Desktop Central MSP, Password Manager Pro, PAM 360, and much more. So we have our head office in India, where 10,000 plus employees are working. And we also have our global presence in different parts of the world, including Australia, USA, Mexico, Netherlands, China, Japan, Singapore. And apart from that, we have our team spread across 18 locations to take care of our customers locally. We also have 200 plus channel and technology partners like Connecting Up and our master distributor, Blue Chip IT, who works as our extended arms in terms of positioning our product and offering technical services. So we have our data centers across the globe to support our customers' needs. In Australia, we have our primary data center in Sydney and secondary in Melbourne. So we ensure that all our data centers are secured. We do all the essential audits periodically and make sure we meet the compliance requirements. Our data centers in Australia are SOC 1, SOC 2, and ISO 27001 compliant. And we employ strict policies and procedures encompassing the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of our customer data. Right, so all that we have seen so far is just to let you know who we are. So now let's get into that topic, privileged password and key management. And while we are on our topic, the first point that we'll be discussing is why it is a missing element in the NFP sector. So in general, there will be a mixture of resources in any enterprise infrastructure, including NFPs. An IT infrastructure can be deployed within a cloud computing system or within an organization's own facilities. It may have hardwares, network devices, databases, various applications, which basically provides access to your services. So also, it may contain personal data like web accounts, or bank accounts, or credit card information, contacts, and much more. So within these resources, there will be different types of accounts with different privileges, with various sensitivity and access given for different reasons. So let's talk about some common problems and challenges that most NFPs face at present in regards to privileged access management. So to understand whether this is really a missing element, we have put forward a few questions which will help us to strengthen this conversation. A live poll will be triggered right now. It's just a simple yes or no questions. So kindly help us answering those. Jean, could you please go ahead and trigger the polls?
Sure, no worries. So please allow me to put up the first poll. So Namo, you can see that from audience view as well.
Yes, I can see that.
Yes, if you want to elaborate.
Oh, yes, I'll elaborate in the end, actually.
Yeah. So the question is, do you have visibility on all the privileged accounts in your infrastructure and who all has access to it? So please select yes or no for this. I'm seeing the numbers is going up. So let's wait for another 10 seconds. All right. So I guess that's pretty much.
Yep, so
Yeah, I'll
I
share
think you
the
can trigger
results.
this
Can you
again.
see that?
Yes, I do see that.
Lovely.
Right. So could you please trigger the next one?
Okay, so once I get the next one, you won't be seeing this one. So do you want to say something for this? Or you
I
want
can see
to
that.
do a summarize? Yeah,
I'll summarize at the bottom. I mean, at the end of
oh,
the poll.
no worries. Just letting you know you won't see this again after this.
Yep, sure. I have
All
noted
right,
down.
no worries. Okay, so we got 5 posts together, everyone. This is the first one, and then I'm going to put the next one. So the next questions. Do you have a working process in place to provide and revoke access to privileged accounts? Please say yes or no in the second poll. So today we got about 20 attendees for your information. No more.
Okay.
So yeah, so the percentage will give you some insights if you, yeah. All right. So I see the numbers is stopping. So let me close this poll and then share the results. So everyone can see the results. There's 60% of the yes and 40% of the no. Do you want me to put the third one?
Yeah, please.
No worries. All right, so that's the third poll. Do you change privileged accounts password frequently? Please select yes or no. All right, I see the numbers coming up. Okay, so I'll close the poll and share the results. So that's 36% of the yes and 64% no.
Yep.
And we got two more. All right. So the fourth question is, do you monitor and audit the privileged access? Please select yes or no. All right. Okay, so let me close it and share the results. So we have 23% of the yes and 77% no.
Okay. Again.
All right. So shall we move to the last one?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So we got the last questions here. Do you have a process to centrally store and manage the SSL/SSH keys? Again, please select yes or no. All right. So let me close it and share the results. So it's 100% no for these.
Okay.
All right. So that's pretty much for the polls. I'll pass the section back to Namal.
Okay. Thank you, Jean, and thank you all for answering the questions. So based on the answers and based on our previous experience working with other NFPs and enterprise organizations, we can understand that there is a lack of visibility and awareness of privileged users and their accounts and credentials. So which eventually creates a gap in a particular area. And also we can see long forgotten privileged accounts and orphaned accounts that are commonly spread across the organizations, which may vary in numbers and provide dangerous backdoor to their critical infrastructure. And many privileged accounts like administrator accounts or root accounts would have been shared with multiple users for various reasons, for which we again don't have visibility. And also the lack of visibility applies to application and service account privileges. We can also see a major gap in defining strict processes to provide and revoke privileged access. And we observe a lack in frequent password rotation, which is again another gap. And also, uh, hard-coded passwords in plain text formats used in scripts and stored in local machines is something which needs our immediate attention. And also, we need to approach SSH keys as just another password. And it's highly important to bring it under management. Okay. So the hard reality today is some of the privileged accounts at present are stored in Excel sheets or text files or hard copies in vaults. Passwords are hard coded in scripts. And when it comes to control, there is no central control or visibility, and no clear policies written. And because of the use of manual process, the passwords are very rarely modified. And when it comes to the level of access, it is uncontrolled for administrators, and it's shared whenever it is needed. And also, I want to talk about some stats from our digital readiness survey, where 1,000 plus qualified executives and technology professionals from United States, Australia, and New Zealand participated. So they are actually directly responsible for IT and procuring business technologies. So we can see the global trend as 74 percentage of data breaches starts with privileged credential abuse, and 65 percentage of organizations have shared administrative privileges, administrative access to privileged systems. And only 56 percentage of companies have changed their security strategy, despite remote employees being directly targeted more often. And 83 percentage of respondents revealed that remote workers increase security risk. And I believe most of us are aware of the Australian Cybersecurity Center, who has developed strategies to mitigate cybersecurity incidents. The most effective of these mitigation strategies are the essential 8. So restricting administrative privilege is one among the 8 strategies. So why administrative privileges should be restricted? That's because users with administrative privileges for operating systems and applications are able to make significant changes to their configuration and operations. They can also bypass critical security settings and access sensitive information. So it is said that an environment where administrative privileges are restricted is more stable, predictable, and even easier to administer and support. So these are the missing elements in the access management strategy. And we'll see how using our ManageEngine application, we can help you to combat this. So we have defined 7 ways to reinforce privileged access security in your enterprise. So the first way is create visibility into all the privileged access in your network. So how we can create visibility? So you may already have some of the known privileged accounts and passwords stored in some format in some means. But the real challenge is discovering the, identifying the unknown accounts, which is where we lack in visibility. And that is where exactly our application comes into picture to discover all the unknown accounts. So we'll be also able to discover and identify the certificates, the SSL certificates and the SSH keys, regardless of certificate authority. And once after we discover the known and unknown, we'll be able to centrally store it and secure it using 256-bit advanced encryption standard. And also we dual encrypt data at application and database level. So let me take you to the application. So I have logged in as an administrator, and we have a resource tab here where I can show you how we can onboard resources. So we have multiple ways, like you can add resources manually, or if you already have it stored in a spreadsheet, then you'll be able to import it, and then you'll be able to import from KeePass. And when it comes to unknown accounts, you can discover it based on the resource type. And once after we discover the resource, we'll be able to see the accounts in that particular resource as well. Right. So when it comes to Linux-based missions, in addition to managing passwords, you can create, consolidate, deploy, and rotate and audit SSH keys using PAM360. So once the resources are discovered and added to PAM360, you can discover the SSH keys present in the resources using the discover key option. The discovered keys are actually listed under SSH keys and discovered keys, where you can later import and secure it in PAM360's key repository. After which you'll be able to launch remote SSH sessions directly from PAM360's interface. And also you can create a new SSH key paths, deploy them to specific resources in PAM360, rotate them periodically, and also track key versions. So after we discover all the resources, the accounts, and the passwords, we can later organize them with the help of groups. So you'll be able to create a dynamic and static group. For example, I have created a group where I have grouped all the Windows missions. So the advantage in creating a group is to better manage permissions and to perform bulk operations. Like for example, I can perform bulk password reset, periodic password reset, and configure notifications and so on. So the next way is build multiple layers of security for privileged access. So now that we have onboarded all the resources, the accounts, and all the passwords, it's highly important to build multiple layers of security for these privileged access. So how we can achieve this is by creating fine-grained access restrictions. So again, let me go back to the application. So there are multiple ways how you onboard users. Like you can import from AD or Azure AD, or you can import from LDAP. So once after onboarding the users, we need to assign them with appropriate roles. Like there are 5 default roles available in the application, like administrator, password administrator, privileged administrator, password user, and password auditor. So apart from these default roles, we can also create customized role based on organization's requirement. So once after creating a role, we should be able to assign that in order to provide fine-grained access restrictions. And then we can add an extra layer of security by implementing multi-factor authentication. So we have two-factor authentication. So some of the common authentication methods are Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, Okta, one-time password sent through email, and much more. So you can use any of these methods and enable two-factor authentication, which can be enabled globally, as well as you'll be able to enable this to only a specific set of users. And then allow launching direct connection. So normally, when a user wants to uh, access a resource, to take remote control of a resource, he'll be requesting for the password, and that will be provided by the administrator. And then uh, the user will be taking remote control using remote desktop connection or telnet or putty. So this is how commonly it is done at present. But that's not the case here. Using our application, you can allow secure login to resources through emulated Windows RDP or SSH or telnet sessions right from any HTML5 compatible browsers, and more importantly, without sharing the password. Like we have a connections tab available where we can see the resources that has been shared. So you'll be just able to connect to the machine, take remote control of the machine right from the application itself. So the advantage here are remote connections established in this way are completely recorded, and the users will not be allowed to see the passwords. And this is extremely useful in case where uh, external vendors tries to access your resource. Okay, and even though the users and resources are in different network, still you'll be able to take remote control. So these are some of the advantages by establishing remote connection in this way. Okay. The next way is adapt easier and quicker workflows to improve business productivity. So what workflow we are talking about here? We are talking about request and release workflow, or I would say request and approve workflow. So let me again go back to the application and see how we can enable the workflow. So I'll pick a resource, and we have an option called configure access control, where we have multiple options. I can choose the approvers from the list of administrators, and then I can exclude some users whom I want to exempt from access control. And then we have some miscellaneous settings where I can enforce uh, least number of administrators to approve the request, like one administrator or two, likewise. And also I can enforce users to provide a reason for password retrieval, and I can send reminders to administrators reminding them to process the password access request. And likewise, we have multiple other options available. So by configuring all these, we are creating a workflow, and then onwards, when a user wants to retrieve a password, he needs to request for it, and upon approval, only then he'll be able to retrieve the password. Also, we have some automations available here. For example, if a user wants to access, retrieve a password continuously for 2 days, okay, multiple times he needs to retrieve the password for some reason, like for an upgrade activity or some maintenance activity. So in that case, it will be difficult for him to keep requesting for password and then waiting for the administrator to approve it. So rather, what the approver can do is they can set up automatic approval where they can mention the day and time so that the password request raised at that time will be automatically approved. So this is one automation. And also we'll be able to automatically reset passwords upon usage by just enabling this option, reset password key after exclusive use. So this is something like a user requests for a password and it is approved for a given period of time. So after that time, the password will be automatically resetted so that the user, if he wants to access retrieve the password again, then he needs to again go through the workflow to request and then wait for the approval. And also we'll be able to bulk reset passwords, bulk rotate passwords. By the use of groups, we'll be able to bulk reset passwords periodically. And also we have another automation, which is just-in-time privileged elevation, where using this feature, you'll be able to elevate privileges for local accounts as well as domain accounts. So local account elevation is available out of box. Like you'll be able to select the local groups and uh, the account will be elevated. For domain users, we need to integrate PAM 360 with another ManageEngine solution called AD Manager Plus to elevate their permission. So basically, the user send request, and once it is approved for a given period of time, that user will be a local admin or a domain admin. So the next way is to condense the attack surface by eliminating credential hard coding. So one common problem that most of NFPs face is credential hard coding. So we may have various applications which talk to each other. For example, an application that retrieves data from SQL database. So in this case, credentials are required, which could be hard-coded in connectors or XML files or scripts or JSON files or much more. So managing these credentials are always challenging. So in case when the passwords are changed, then it has to be manually updated in all those scripts or XML files, which is again a time-consuming process. And saving the passwords in plain text format in local machine is definitely not a good option. So to address this, we have two types of APIs, REST API and SSH-based CLI API. So REST API is most commonly used among these. Let me take you to the API documentation. So here we have the wide range of APIs available. So let me go with a use case. We have a requirement to get the password of an account that is part of a resource, and I want to use it in a Python script. So in this case, instead of hard coding the password, you can make use of the API, which retrieves the password from the application every time when it is executed. So this is the API which I'm using in my use case. So get the password of an account that is part of a resource. So here we can see URL, the header, the input data, and what is required is the resource ID and account ID. So once we have all this, we'll be able to retrieve the password using this API given here. So that might be a concern, like how secure it is to retrieve a password through API call. So to answer that, there are three stages of authentication involved here. First, we will check the host name to make sure the call is from an authorized source. Secondly, we authenticate with a TLS certificate. And finally, we will check the auth token sent by the API call. So once after it is authenticated, only then we'll be able to retrieve the password. So similar to this example, we have many other APIs that allows you to connect, interact, and integrate with PAM 360 directly. So the APIs offer a wide range of operations, such as creating resources and adding accounts to them, and then we'll be able to retrieve passwords. We can update passwords and so on. And then plugins to restore security in DevOps environment. So the primary objective of this is fairly simple as above. Lots of our customers use DevOps tools and CI/CD pipelines and automation scripts, where it involves credentials. So generally, we hard code credentials in those scripts, which causes security issues. And if you would like to change the password, then it needs to be changed here as well. To overcome this challenge, we have this CICD integration. So let me go to the application and all right, so these are the CI/CD platforms for which we have plugins available by default: Jenkins, Ansible, Chef, and Puppet. Let's take Jenkins for example. So this is the plugins page where we have instructions how to enable the plugins. So we need to generate the auth token and then provide it here, and then we can download the plugin and install it. We need to import the SSL certificate, and then we can create environment by just providing the attributes and the environmental variables. So the list of environmental variables available are shown here. Okay, so the next is to improve oversight and accountability of privileged sessions. So just to reiterate, we have seen a challenge like when sessions are provided, when session access is provided to third-party people, how we are going to record those sessions and how we are going to monitor the session. So this can be made simple with our application. So for this, let me log in as an end user to demonstrate how it works. So let's assume that this end user is a third-party vendor. So the user can see all the resources that has been shared, and he'll be able to take remote control of that particular machine. So the remote control is now established. And for example, this user is deleting 2 folders. Okay, and we ended the session as a user and log in as an administrator. So now the administrator will be able to see all these sessions which is recorded. Okay, for example, the session which we recently launched, I can play that and I can view what happened in that particular session. So it is completely recorded. And again, let me go to the user login and I'll connect to the machine. So this time, simultaneously, I'll log in as an administrator. And we have an option called active privilege session, where I can see the session which is actively running. So being an administrator, I'll be able to join the session and monitor what is happening in real time. And in case if I find that the user is doing something which he's not supposed to do, then I can immediately terminate the session. The session will be disconnected for the user as well. So this is how we can record privileged session and we can monitor what is happening in real time using our application. And the next way is readily demonstrate compliance with regulations and security policies. So here you can facilitate regular internal audits and configure instant alert notifications. So PAM 360's audit trial instantly record all events around privileged account and key activities. For example, login attempts or scheduled or completed tasks. This data will help in complying with regular internal audits and forensic investigations, and also for demonstrating who accessed what resource or what file, when it was accessed, where and why. So in our application, we have multiple audit options like resource audit, user audit, and task audit. So for example, when we go to resource audit, we can see the resource name, the account operated by which user, and the timestamp, and all these are recorded. Also, you'll be able to configure the audit in such a way that you can specify what operations you're going to audit. Like it could be an account operation, or it could be a resource operation, or a password operation. Whatever, you can decide what you're going to audit. And also you'll be able to send email notifications. And also you can send syslog messages and SNMP traps to your SIEM or network management solution. In case if you have a third-party SIEM tool in your organization, then you can integrate PAM 360 with your third-party tool and send syslog messages. for various events that occurs. And also you can integrate your network monitoring tool with PAM 360 to receive SNMP traps. And also you can purge audit logs that are older than a specified number of days to keep the disk space free. And then you can demonstrate compliance. As just seen before, PAM 360 provides immutable audit logs that can be shared with auditors to demonstrate compliance. And also, we can run reports that shows the violations in your network from the requirements of compliance standards. So under reports tab, we have so many reports available. One among them is compliance reports. So where we can see different compliance standards. For example, PCI DSS compliance. We'll be able to see the controls specified in that particular compliance standard, and we can generate a report based on that. Right. So the next way is integrate with advanced technologies to make better business decisions. So in this topic, let's take a look into advanced analytics capabilities and UEBA capabilities and event correlation capabilities. So among multiple point products in ManageEngine, we have a BI tool called Analytics Plus. So the idea here is to share information pertaining to privileged access, where the data flows from PAM 360 to Analytics Plus. So let me again go back to the application. So I have already integrated the Analytics Plus application with the PAM 360. So we will be able to see various dashboards here, like access control dashboards, so password insight, user activity dashboard, and so on. So for example, let me get into the password insight dashboard, where we'll be able to see the passwords which is expired and passwords which is about to expire. So resource with most expired passwords and so on. So we have multiple widgets in this data in this dashboard, and we have other dashboards as well. So as I said, the idea is to share the information pertaining to privileged access, where the data actually flows from PAM 360 to Analytics Plus. Okay, and the key benefits of this integration is to include continuous and real-time monitoring of privileged systems to track and collect, analyze, and build user behavior patterns. So apart from monitoring this, we also offer integration uh, uh, about privileged users, resources, access levels, and their usage patterns, along with a comprehensive history of past operations performed by the users. Okay, and we have something called anomaly detection. Okay, so this is another dashboard. So it is quite interesting. Let's say, for example, users, I mean, normally the users login hours is between 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So all of a sudden, a user logs in at 11 p.m. and tries to reset a password or try to take remote control of a machine. Okay, so this is something which is a suspicious activity. So using our application, you'll be able to track it. Uh, in this anomaly detection, you can find all the non-business hours operation and other widgets like most frequent non-operation, non-business hour operation. So all this will be captured, and risk score will be generated based on this. And also we'll be able to generate alerts. And also we have our SIEM solution. So which is called as Log 360, and that can also be integrated with PAM 360. So again, the idea behind this integration is to offer advanced event correlation. So for example, if someone logins to PAM and connect to a mission, PAM will record that activity and even send alerts. So what if someone bypass PAM? Okay, like he requests for a password and retrieves the password and bypass PAM and then directly connect to the mission using remote desktop connection or telnet or PuTTY. So even in that case, we can still audit the activities in that particular mission. So in activity, again, we can see recorded connections, and we'll be able to see activity logs. So this will show the metadata of all the activities that was performed after the password is retrieved from our application. Okay, and also we have ticketing system integration. So you'll be able to integrate PAM with multiple ticketing tools like Service Desk, Jira, ServiceNow, uh, and much more by just providing respective auth token and URL. So this will allow PAM to authenticate with your ticketing tool to check tickets. We have some advanced configuration here where we need to configure map the entries between PAM 360 and ticketing tool and vice versa. And also we can configure certain conditions that needs to be checked in the ticketing system. So the flow is very simple here. If a user wants to uh, access a mission, okay, wants to retrieve a password in a particular mission, he sends an email to the ticketing solution. It is then approved by the approver in the ticketing tool, and then the user, when he comes back to PAM to retrieve the password, he'll be asked for the ticket ID. So once we provide the ticket ID, the access is provided. So that is how the flow works here. And the primary benefit of this integration is to use one workflow which you can follow under the ticketing tool when it comes to approval. All right, so we have reached the end of the session. So let me quickly summarize what we discussed so far. So we saw the 7 different ways how to reinforce privileged access security in your enterprise. So we first saw how to create visibility into all the privileged access, where we discussed about how to discover and identify resources, all the unknown accounts, certificates, SSH keys, and how to create, how to centrally store it and secure it. And then we discussed about building multiple layers of security for privileged access by assigning fine-grained access restrictions to users through roles, and also to implement two-factor authentication and allow users to securely log in to resources from a browser without sharing a password. Also, we discussed about request and approve workflow by configuring access control, where we can also automate approval, password reset, and just-in-time privileged escalation. And we saw the usage of APIs and plugins, which helps us avoiding using passwords in plain text format in scripts and DevOps tools and so on. We discussed how to record privileged session activities, how to monitor that in real time, and terminate it if required. So we discussed about the various auditing options available and how to send alerts from it and generate compliance reports using it. So finally, we discussed about the various AI and ML-driven monitoring capabilities using advanced analytics integration and SIEM tool integration, and also ticketing tool integration. So thank you so much for your time. So please do share your questions if you have any.
Thank you, Namo. It's a very informative sections. I believe like most of us are having a lot of takeaways. So I got some questions here. So Penelope is asking some full form, for example, APL, SSL, SSH keys. So what exactly are they? So there's three
Those,
things. Yeah.
yeah, let me answer that.
Yeah.
Just give me 1 minute. I'm just trying to look into the chat option.
You mean you want to have the questions?
Yes, I want to take a look into the questions.
Okay, I
No
can
problem.
assign to you. Can you get that? So you go to the question box. So it is basically just a very short question. So you can just answer like, what is SSL, SSH keys?
Yep, just give me 1 minute.
Yep. So if you have like more questions, everyone, feel free to type into the questions box, and then we are very happy to answer you right now. I saw some thank you from the chat box as well. Thank you everyone for attending this. And then we got more events coming up next week. So basically we have events close to every day from Tuesday to Thursday. And we got a little bonus section after this. So stay with us for another minute.
Jane, I would like to take it up the question.
Yes, please.
Okay, yeah. So SSL certificates are primarily the ones that are used in the websites and even in applications that are primarily to secure the communication. And SSH keys are primarily used to connect to the Linux boxes, either through your SSH protocols and different ports.
Thank you, Mohammed. So just let everyone know that Mohammed is from the same company. So he's also the, I guess, the consultant here. So that's why for the Q&A sections, we are having a few different voices here, just to make it interactive and then try to provide as much information as possible. So thank you, Mohammed, for this.
Thank you, Jane.
And also we got another question from Teresa. So ManageEngine and PAM 360 looks like overkill for your organization and be the best used and managed by our outsourced IT service provider. Can we make this presentation available to them? So I guess this question is for me. So basically, as I said, all the presentation deck and recordings will be sent to you in 1 to 2 business days. So since it is a free event, so you can just share the link to whatever friends or organizations that you think it is beneficial to them. Hope this answers your questions, Teresa. Thanks, and we got Penelope here again. And so yeah, just letting you know because she's thinking, oh, maybe a little bit advanced, but we actually have some like beginners, intermediate, advanced level, different courses available from time to time, so that you can always select the thing that whether you think is suitable for you. But it's a very good comment as well, so that we know like what's the majority needs, and then we can always tailor make and customize the suitable courses for you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so let me see if we got some other questions. Hold on. All right. I guess that's pretty much. So Namal and Mohammed, would you like to add anything before we finish?
Yeah. So normally, yeah, you can take it.
Yeah, can you please trigger the survey?
Oh, yes. As I spoke in the opening sections, there is a survey after this. So everyone will get that. Don't worry about that one. Okay, as I said, there's a little bonus sections here right now. So please allow me to put myself as the presenter. Hold on, everyone. All right, so I guess everyone is seeing my screen now. So that's a little bonus here is about we got a very features highlight event next week. It's next Wednesday, the 27th October. So basically it's a digital marketing webcoin that we usually done only once a year. So it is a full day event from 9 to 3:30. It's basically about digital marketing in different areas such as websites, how to perform the search engines, how to plan for your websites, especially for not-for-profits, and also building capacity for our one-man bank in the digital marketing areas. Not to mention about the social media content as well. So I'll say it is a very comprehensive webcon that we are doing next Wednesday. So if you're interested, feel free to register now. And then this information will also be in your follow-up emails with all the links and of course today's deck and the recordings. All right. Thank you very much again. Thank you, Mohammed and Namal, for these very informative sections. And so if we don't have anything to add, so let's finish off here and we'll see you very soon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.